nicknamed Co-Ed Butcher. In April 1970.
Bonjour, bonsoir. Je dis à moi c'est décidé pour me faire une petite vidéo. So, nous connaissons slogan là déjà bonjour, bonsoir. Parce que à l'époque, là, on a regardé des vidéos à me saluer nous. So, si on a regardé des vidéos à matin ou bien après-midi, me saluer nous. Ok? So, je fais quelques temps, je pensé pour me faire une vidéo, mais on connaît, I was grieving. Let's talk English instead because I'm better at English. Okay, so I have been grieving for a few months, almost to a year. And the last video I had really did when I was doing the makeup, I started talking about my daughter who was having seizures, who was having multiple seizures in the day. And she was having multiple, sometimes she would have 8 to 10 seizures a day, and it was a lot to handle. And this all started in March 10 of 2020. March 10 of 2020 is when she started having seizures. And she wasn't diagnosed until 2021 of epilepsy or seizure. And when she had the seizure, I was sleeping. I was in Florida at the time. I didn't move to Fitchburg, Massachusetts until August of 2020. So March 10th of 2020 is when she started having a seizure. I was sleeping. It was early morning, like around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning when she first had her first seizure. I was sleeping, and then like I heard a voice say, "Get up and look at your children." And I didn't hesitate at the time, and I just got up and I was checking on my children. And when I was checking on my children, my daughter, which her name is Saisha, rest in peace to my angel, who I love so dearly and miss every day. There's not a day I don't think about this girl where I miss her so much, because she was a loving child. She loved everybody and everybody around her. Mind you, so that day when I got up and I was screaming out for help, I was like, help, 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 somebody help me. Because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know, because at the time, COVID was out and everybody was going ballistics and stuff like that with the COVID. And I thought something happened to her with the COVID. And then I was screaming, help, 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 somebody help me. I didn't know what to do. So when they came to help me, my mother was holding on to her, and I was standing there. When she stopped having the seizure, and my mom was like, "Oh, she's dead," and I didn't know what came over me. I feel like something came from my foot to my head. I lost it completely. I lost it. I didn't know what to do. I was out of it. I was, because I was new to this. So time and time went on, and she continued to have a seizure. And then at the time, I was not married, and my boyfriend at the time, he was like, okay, so if you can't find a result in Florida, so why don't you come to Massachusetts and stuff like that, and maybe we can find and resolve the issue with your daughter. So so in August, he came to pick me up and my children, and we drove to Massachusetts. And we started taking her to the doctors, and they started doing all kind of tests. They did a generic, they did like a brain test on her. I don't know how to say that word, but it's like in my mind and stuff like that. To see if it was a trait from family members who had seizures and stuff like that. And I was like, no. And then they did multiple tests, and that's when they finally diagnosed her with epilepsy, a seizure. But not knowing where it came from, they had to do more tests and more tests. So she kept having seizures. I kept taking her to a doctor and stuff like that. So when she finally got to go to school of August of 2021 in Longos Middle School in Massachusetts, in Fitchburg, the school was supposed to give her medication in the morning, and I was supposed to give her at night, which means I gave the school a bottle, and I kept a bottle for her, because the time frame that she was supposed to get her medication was from 8 to 8. So she had to take it in the morning and 8 at night. So I was giving her medication properly and on time. And on weekends, I had to give it to her at 8 in the morning and also 8 at night. So the school kept, like, every time they asked her, did your mom give her medication? Of course, she's going to say no, because I don't give it to her in the morning. You know? So every time she goes to school, the school nurse asks, did your mom give you medication? She said no. And mind you, when she was having the seizures, she became mentally challenged. And mind you, before she had the seizure, she was very intelligent. She was on time with her school, and she was helping her brother, her older brother, with homework. She was very, very, very smart and very intelligent. And then when she had the seizure, it put her on the sit back, where to the point that she started acting like a little kid again. Mind you, she was 10, and she started acting like a little kid again. And so of course, if you don't give her something like in the morning, she's gonna say no. So the school reported me. Every time they asked her, they reported it to DCF. So DCF came and got her, and they took her because they told me I was neglecting her of her medication. I was neglecting my daughter of her medication, and I know she needed her medication, and it was very important to give her medication, but she constantly was having seizures, So she was constantly having seizures and still was having seizures in custody of DCF. Okay. So then she still, like, there was nothing they could do. There was nothing they could do to stop her having seizure until she went and turned, and she was having another seizure, and they called it pseudo seizures. Okay. Like, I'm new to this. I was like, what is a pseudo seizure? And stuff like that. And every time I would have a visit with my kids and through DCF in the DCF office, she would have a knot on her face. She would have a knot on her body. One time she came with a sprained ankle, and her feet was swollen because she had a seizure and nobody was around to protect her. And I'm the one they call neglecting my child. And no, mind you, she was with me since 2020 with the seizure, and I always constantly kept an eye on her. I have cameras in her room, cameras in the kitchen, cameras in the other room, cameras in my room, because wherever she's at, I want to, like, keep an eye on her, like, So then came around 2020. They took her in November of 2021. And then November of 2021, they took her from me. So we did visits, and we was going to court. They were trying to figure out, like they were trying to do an action plan and stuff like that to get me to get her back. But they was very slow with their work. They was not doing anything on task or anything. Till September 1st of 2022 was the last time I saw my daughter alive. Last time I saw her alive. And I was at the DCF office, and we did some visits and stuff like that. And then I saw her on a Thursday, and then on a Friday she was in the hospital. They were supposed to call me and let me know when she goes to the hospital. They didn't let me. They didn't let me know that she was at the hospital or anything. So I'm like, okay. I wasn't like, okay. I didn't know. And then on Saturday, September 3rd, is when I was at church, and then my phone was ringing, but it was like a private call, and I never answered it. I never answered the call because it was private. I'm like, if this person really wants me, they wouldn't call me private. So, who's calling me? And then while I was sitting down, and then my husband received a call from his sister, and the sister was like, "Oh, there's like police outside. She don't know what's going on. Blah blah blah." So while he was talking to her, and then he was telling her that she was telling him that. And I answered, I said, okay, I was like, okay, something is wrong. Like you feel that something, that feeling that something is wrong. So while he was talking to her, there was a private call again. I picked it up. And it was an officer who called me, and the officer was like, "Are you home?" I'm like, "No, I'm at church. Blah blah blah. What's going on and stuff like that." So he didn't want to tell me, so I persisted him, keep asking him, "What's going on? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" And while I was asking him what's wrong, my heart, my heart kept skipping a beat because I kept getting I have this feeling like something is wrong, like. I couldn't figure out what was wrong, and then I kept asking him, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" And then when I finally, he was like, "Okay," so he couldn't find a way to tell me. Then he was like, "Your daughter, she had a seizure. She was at the hospital Friday night, and come to this morning, your daughter is deceased." And I was like, deceased. I couldn't I didn't have no feeling after that. I couldn't feel nothing. I don't know. It's like I left my body. And when I finally finally trying to copy what was said to me, and that's when I see that I was home. And I'm like, how did I get home? But it was my husband who drove from where we was at to come to bring me home, because he said I was screaming, I blacked out, and I did blacked out because it's my child who's deceased, and I to this day it's still an unbelievable thing for me. I'm still trying to take it in, but it's hard. I cry. I break down. I miss her. It's so much. It's so much to take in when you have your child and they pass away, and then it's hard to take in, and it's hard for me till this day. And I try a day by day. I'm like, okay, I leave everything in the hands of God. That is God's will. So I take it day by day. And I just wanted to say, if it was for God, the man upstairs, I would not know what to do with myself. So, because losing a child is hard. It's complicated. So I'm still here, and I always thank God every day. It's not easy to grieve when you lose a child. It's not. But you can only take it day by day. And I have 2 other children that I'm trying so hard to be myself. But you can't be yourself, And it's been 11 months. Today is August 3rd, 2022, and You can only take it a step at a time, you know? Like I said, without God, we're nothing. Without God, nothing is impossible. So as long as you have God in your life, you'll be okay. And, you know, just always praying, always read your Bible, always keep God in your life, because without him, we're nothing. You know, it took a lot for me. It took a lot. Mind you, I got baptized August 27th, 8 days before my daughter passed away. So it was like when I think about it, I'm like, okay, if I didn't get baptized and put God into my life, I don't know where I will be today. And my daughter, she lives in my memories. She lives. If I didn't have, I have videos. I thank God for that. I can watch some of the videos I watch of her. I laugh, and some of them I cry because I really miss her so much. And she was a loving child. She was smart, very intelligent. You know, she loved everybody. I remember one time I went out with her to a grocery store, and she saw this lady. She was like, "Oh, you're so pretty." And the lady looked at her. The lady was like, "Oh my God, thank you. You made my day." That's just the type of person she was. She loved everybody. She was friendly. You know, she got along with everybody. It don't matter who you are. You know, she never got violent. She never got loud. She was just a happy girl. And I can only remember her through memories of her. You know, each day that goes by, I miss her hugs. Because I'm always hugging her. She's always hugging me. And it's crazy. And when she had the seizure, she was like, "Oh, mommy, why can't I be like, why couldn't God make me like every other kid? Why couldn't I be like every other kid?" And the last thing that killed me is when she told me, "Mommy, I pray to God every day, but God don't answer my prayers." I don't know what she was asking God for. Until this day, I still don't know. I wish I knew, you know. I wish I knew what she was praying for, but it's only, you can only think so many things, you know. Maybe she was asking God to get better. You can only think, but you don't know. So I take it a step at a time, and I keep God in my mind, like soul, and I can only take it day by day. Only time will tell how it's gonna be, and how it will be. And DCF bombed me, and DCF failed my child, and they the one who neglected my daughter of care, because she was in the room with a little girl, a little 8-year-old girl, in a group home with an 8-year-old girl. And the 8-year-old girl that night, her mother had wrote me on Facebook telling me what happened. Her daughter kept telling the staff people that something was wrong with my daughter, and they never hesitated to go in the room to check on my daughter. So they neglected my daughter of care, and the care that she needed, you know. So in my house, if I'm sleeping in my room and she gets a seizure, my phone get alert and it rings, and then like it tells me something is in that room, something is going on in that room, and I look at the camera and I see if she has a seizure. I get up to her, I go to her and I check on her, you know. But the staff people where she was at in the group home, they didn't do that. They just took her from the hospital Friday night and dropped her off in the room and didn't check on her. So when she first passed away, I felt how she felt that night. She suffocated. And I feel like I was in her body that night. And when she was having a seizure, all she wanted was somebody to turn her around, because she, mind you, she likes to sleep on her face. You know, if she having a seizure and drool coming out her mouth, and she's laying on her face, and she can't turn around because she's not there. She's, you know, when she having a seizure, she can't turn herself around while she having a seizure. She needs somebody there to help her, and nobody was there to help her. You know, but like I said, only God is willing. Only God know why, and you know, you can only ask why. You can only ask questions. But you know, if you're a true believer of the Most High, you know, the God, the Almighty, you can only just take it a step at a time and day by day. That's all you can do. You can't fight it, because you know, whatever happens already happened. And she was gonna be 14 in January. I lost my baby. I lost my sweet little angel, you know. But in due time, I'm just telling you a little taste of what happened to my daughter. And in due time, I will tell more. And hopefully I get to make more videos. Hopefully I can make more videos, and just leave it at that. You know, well, I can say, just always pray to God. Always have God in mind. Never doubt God's work, because He's almighty. He's powerful. Nothing is possible without God. You know, always wake up in the morning, pray, open your Bible before you leave your house. Always read a psalm, because you know, there are people that goes out and they don't get to come back home. Some people could sleep and don't wake up the next day. So each time you open your eyes and you see a day, and when you go out, you come back home, you always think the Father, the Most High, because He's almighty. I love God. I love His work, and He's in me, and I believe in Him. I never gave up, and He never gave up on me. So, you know, stuff like that. And then I was grieving. It took me a long time to grieve. And there were times where I just stayed in the room in the dark and talked to God, asked Him questions. I asked Him questions. I do cuss at Him. I do get very frustrated. Sometimes I look at some videos, I look at myself back in the days. I'm like, I never thought I would lose a child, you know. I never thought I would be in that predicament to lose a child. When I would see a mother losing their child, it is sad to hear, you know, but you can't feel it until it happens to you. You can't feel it until it happens to you, and it happened to me. And I feel for every mother on this earth, on this planet Earth, who lost a child. I know it's hard, and you can only take it day by day. You know, only God can save you. Only God can make you get better. Only God can cure you, and only God can do a lot of things. You know, if God wants to destroy this world, He will destroy this world in seconds. You know, and you wouldn't even have a time to blink. That's how powerful this man is. So like I was saying, and I was watching this video about Russia, and how they was making these bombs, how they was making these grenades. I'm like, this all right here was written in the Bible, and it said in the Bible that God is not gonna destroy the world anymore. Us as humans gonna destroy the world, and this is exactly what's happening. So all I can say is save yourself. Put yourself in God, you know, because all this that's going on in the world, if you really look at it, is crazy, you know. You know, people killing people, the war that's going on right now from Ukraine and Russia, you know, water flood, fire, storms. All we can do is just believe in the Lord and save yourself, you know. Not to say that, not to say, how you say that word? I forgot. But anyways, just believe in God. Always read your Bible, you know. And don't do bad. Don't think bad. Always think positive. No negative thoughts. You know, always do good. You know, I like this guy, this lady was at the supermarket the other day, and I was in the car, and she was asking, she was just asking people for money and place to sleep, and there was this guy. I wish I could help her, you know, but in this time and age, you can't trust just anybody in your home. I wish I could have helped her, you know, and I just told her there's shelters you can go to, you know, and go to churches. They're here to help, you know. And it was sad that, like, she asked this guy for a place to sleep, and then he pointed his finger at another guy, and they started laughing like it was funny. It's not funny. When you see somebody in a predicament, in a bad situation, it's not funny. If you can help, help. If you can give advice, give them advice. Don't laugh. It's not funny. Because, mind you, the shoe will fit anybody. You know? Try to put yourself in somebody's shoe who's going through it. You know, don't just laugh at it. Don't just do certain things. Because, mind you, in Haiti Creole, as they say in Creole, te a son te glisse li. Wajan kan ki lo ap tombe. Just toujours prier bon Dieu, toujours que bon Dieu dans vie nous, toujours faire bien, pas faire mal, pas penser mal. Sou ka fon bagay pou, sou ka fon bien pour moun, fait. Sou pas ka fait, sou ka ba moun un conseil, ba moun na conseil. Sou pas ka faire rien ça pas ri moun non. Parce que gen moun qui nan nécessité vrai. Gen moun qui vraiment besoin, gen moun qui vraiment dans souffrance. Ou pas ki son moun a passé parce ou pas dans soulier moun. Pas ri moun non. Parce que l'autre jour mal dans market là, kounya le mal dans market là, kounya gon fille qui devant market là k'ap mande l'argent, k'ap mande moun côté pour le rete. Kounya gen deux messieurs, kounya la monsieur là m'a dit monsieur, est-ce que vous ka ballon côté pour le rete? Kounya les messieurs allongé men sous l'autre monsieur, kounya tombé ril. Mais même dit ça pas, si m'de ka aider m'dapé d'elle. But pourtant kounya et pas tout le monde ka fait confiance. Vous comprenez? So, m just di fi an baka edel, m balon conseil pour que ça parle dans chete, ou bien cherchons l'église yo là pour yo edo. Sou ka ba moun na conseil, just ba moun na conseil. Pas real, parce que ou pa kon ki sa moun na, ou pa kon ki sa moun na ye, ou pa kon ki misère moun, ou pa kon ki paye si la passe. Vous comprenez pas real, parce que ou était ka ou même, li te ka ou fille te ka ou moun yo, ou te ka fille, ka mande la ria. Parce que pas j'aime connais parce que tout aujourd'hui t'es à son te glissé li ou pas j'aime connais demain. Toujours réfléchir pour demain, toujours réfléchir. On va agir. So, petit conseil ça vient porter pour nous. So, si nous comprenons moi dans vidéo parce que me parler anglais dans presque toute vidéo comment perdre petit moi année passée et son monde donc tellement quoi la gomme là me connaît l'Éternel là pas rien qui fait sans l'Éternel sans bon Dieu dans ciel là so me dit donc les petits moi qui mourir donc me dit c'est non mais bon c'est bon Dieu parce que pas jamais pas poser question c'est tout bas c'est bon Dieu qui fait so mais tout confesse moi toute la femme bon Dieu garde bon Dieu te mettre sous terre pour une leçon, vous comprenez, parce que, ou bien, juste volonté bon Dieu. Sommes monde qui vraiment, croit dans bon Dieu. So, même si là, là, je peux parler, je peux rester là, me crier, me demander bon Dieu pour qui ça. Bon, c'est bon Dieu ça me comme pour qui ça, pour qui raison. Maybe c'était temps par qui t'est arrivé, you know, maybe, you know, I don't know, but toujours j'aime dire nous, toujours croire en bon Dieu, toujours mais bon Dieu dans la vie nous. Pas jamais faire mon mal, pas jamais penser mal, toujours penser bien, penser positif, penser bien, pas jamais gon mauvais penser dans tête, toujours penser bien, toujours faire bien. Parce que tout autre vivre sous terre, ou faire mal ou vivre sous terre. Ou font mal ou vivre sous terre. Et pas là ou tout aujourd'hui l'enfer ou va vivre sans te faire. Non. Ou vivre sous terre. Ou fait mal ou jeune mal. Ou fait bien ou jeune bien. Vous comprenez? Toujours faire bien, même si vous font bien au monde, moun n'a pas remettre tout bien ou jeune bien quand même l'homme ou l'autre monde. Vous comprenez? So, fait toujours chercher faire bien. Sou ka ba moun ou se manger, ba moun ou se manger. Sou ka ba moun nan l'argent, ou ka ba moun nan l'argent. Parce que l'argent pas éternel, l'argent tout matériel pas éternel. Vous comprenez? So, toujours faire bien, toujours penser bien, pas jamais faire mal, pas jamais penser négatif. Ou gen la ou moun na ou ba fin ou regarder moun na bien laid, ou penser mal pour moun na. Non. Ou gen la ou penser mal pour moun na fini mal là c'est ou même ni rive. So, la vie ça va demander ça. La vie a demandé pour faire bien ou j'aime bien. Ou faire mal ou j'aime mal. Gen des moun qui ka fait tout temps, a fait mal. Et fini après ça, yo chita, yo ouais bagay a privé, tout bagay a privé, tout mal a privé. Ou gen la ouais ou te gon kay et fini ou moun te vin faire la descente la ka ou fini ou mette moun na dehors. Et fini lo gade. Ou chita un bonjour, le gade ouais mec kay vin mettre dehors et fini ou mande bon Dieu so fait wapé. Et fini ou pas jamais réfléchir à ça te faire qui vient retourner back sur vous. Ou gen la ou te gon machine. Ou fait moun la malhonnête à machine et fini lo gade ou kaze ou perdre machine ou bien ou bon perdre machine ou bien ou te gon machine ou te comment dire moi ça encore ou gon machine ou acheter crédit ou payer par mois et fini lo gade ou pas gen pour payer machine là kounya ou vinn rale machine là kounya ou commence relan moi mande bon Dieu so faut payer et vous pas jamais connaît so te faire et lo payer. Ça veut dire tout autant qu'a fait bien. Tout autant sous terre ou vivre toujours fait bien. OK? Parce que terre sont glissé lié à n'importe quel heure ou font mon bagay la pour tourner back so. Ou acide ou sur moun ou l'autre moun ka prend acide la voyer sur tout. Et ne pas jamais faire mon mal. Toujours chercher faire bien. So vidéo a gâté 33 minutes, so l'idée en pile, me parler de l'Éternel, c'est son monde qui croit l'Éternel, qui croit bon Dieu, toujours fait bien, toujours son monde qui bénit, parce que toujours try pour faire bien, pas dire perfect, pas dire nobody is perfect, pas grand monde qui parfait sur terre. So on prend conseil ça. En Québec, conseil ça, toujours fait bien, toujours penser bien, pas jamais penser négatif, pas jamais faire mal. So, toujours prier bon Dieu, toujours prendre Bible, prier bon Dieu, toujours, live life, bon Dieu pas dire pas qu'à vivre, just vivre les où sont capable, but just pas faire mon mal, ok? So, m'a fait mes vidéos là, so m'espérer que nous prenons conseil là. Des gens qui ont juste entendu, qui ont juste vu la vidéo et fini ou juste dit peut-être la parler mais un jour qu'aujourd'hui on va tout faire plus parce que pour ça bon Dieu mettez sur terre pour toujours faire bien parce que ma base fait mon so m'a dit good night parce que les gars c'était du soir bon côté pam So mba konen ale nan gade video wa. So mba nou respect nou. E mersi an pil pou sipo wa ke nou gade video wa. Okay, so good night. Bye.